what we hope to ever do with ease, it first has to start with doing it with diligence, right? And maybe that's just coming to your mat, showing up on your mat. You just got to do, you just got to be faithful, you just got to do, and then things fall into place. Isn't that true about everything? Hi, my name is Jan. This is 316 Yoga, and this is your yoga from home. That's the best part. You're doing it your way at home. Bottom of the screen says, do what's right for your body. That's what you always got to do. Don't think of, I've got to do this pose this way. Ease into it. Do what feels good for your body. If something hurts, why would you want to do that? Don't do it. You're not going to get any benefits from it. If it's uncomfortable and you can just breathe through it, that's a whole nother story. But you've just got to show up, do what is right for you, and do what feels good. That's so important. It's a 1 hour long restorative practice today. We practice every day live, start to finish, no cuts. All the little mistakes are here and there. You'll see them. But it's real. It's like being in a real class because, quite honestly, that's what we're all about, right? I mean, just being real. So 1 hour long practice. Stick around as long as you can. Restorative, we do this 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Sundays. Perhaps it is the hardest practice for you to do. It is for me because it's stilling the mind. And there's great benefits in this practice. Other days of the week, we do other types of practices. Check us out. It all works together to make you stronger. So I would ask you, the word of the day, what is holding you back? So 2 words really, right? What's holding you back? What's holding you back is the thought that something is holding you back. Just get out there and try. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe this is your first time doing yoga. That's excellent. All right, so here's the deal. Today we've got about 8 poses. We're going to hold them for a while, and I'm going to tell you the whys of why we're doing the poses, and then I'll be quiet. So here's the deal. You're going to need some props today. A blanket. Everybody's got one of those. A big pillow from your sofa or a yoga bolster. They are great. Buy yourselves one. Treat yourself to it. 2 yoga blocks. You're going to use those. We use those often. Those are relatively inexpensive. Buy those as well, and bring them to another practice. All right. So an eye shade and a little hand towel. That's wonderful to have. What's holding you back? What's holding you back? All right. Let's proceed. And some water. Have some water as well. Okay, so let's come into a child's pose. That's the first pose we're going to do today. As you come on down to your child's pose, what's holding you back, right? See, I told you it's live. All right, so here's the deal. In your child's pose, as you come here, lock in a stress number. Scale of 1 to 5, 1 to 10. What's stressing you out right now? Remember that number, and then we're going to come back to it. Bring your bolster vertically onto your mat. Place it between your knees. There's no magic code here. You're going to do what's right. You're going to place the bolster, the bottom third of it or so, between your knees. Maybe bring a block to the top of your mat. Maybe scoot your bolster back even more so your bottom can be resting on it. And you're going to place your head maybe onto the block. The idea here is you want to get your chest all the way down to the bolster. We're going to be here for 5 minutes. All right, so as I said, I'm going to tell you the whys. So come on down, place your head on the block or maybe another pillow there. Rest your chest and your belly as best you can onto the bolster. Scoot it around, move it around, make it work for you. Arms wherever you want. On the mat, beside the block, down by your side, but just rest here. And have you ever wondered why we do child's pose? Well, I'm about to tell you. So I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes. I'll tell you when we're about halfway through, so you can turn your neck if you want to. So if you want to rest on one cheek and then take it to the other. So you're lengthening your spine. You can feel that, right? Send your tailbone more to the back of the room and the crown of your head to the front. This eases tension in your low back. And it's also a great pose for increased blood circulation and for digestion. So that helps. Those 2 are complementary. It opens your hips. It strengthens your ankles and your feet because your ankles right now are getting a nice stretch. So it also massages your internal organs because your knees are greatly bent and your organs are getting a nice massage. That'll help with digestion as well. This pose decreases fatigue, and the opposite of that is it gives you more energy, right? It calms your mind, stretches the quadriceps and the knees as well. So breathe here, and I'll let you know when we're halfway done if you want to turn your neck. Big breath in through the nose and out
through the mouth as you sigh it out. And eventually with your breathing, if it suits you, close your lips and breathe in and out of your nose as you bring greater awareness to just your body and breathing. The hard part is letting the thoughts go. Let the thoughts go, focus on the breathing, and find total stillness in your body as best you can. Soften in the jaws. And be in the present moment. Awareness of the temperature of the room around you, the sensation of your mat underneath your body, allowing your body to be heavy as you let go of everything that doesn't benefit you right now. If you've been resting your head on one cheek, it is time to turn the other cheek. Deepen your breaths. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And I really mean it when I say it's your practice. If you want to stay here in this child's pose, it's a really great pose in which to stay for 10 minutes if you want. Stay longer. I'm going to move into toes pose if you want to join me. Maybe after I told you that, you really want to stay in child's pose. All right, if you want to come out, slowly press on up. Remove your bolster for the moment. Just take it up to the top of your mat. You'll come back to it in a few minutes. All right, so here's the deal. Toes pose, also called screaming toes pose. Tuck your toes under. Come to standing on your knees and place your block behind your heels and have a seat. All right, I am going to set a 3-minute timer here. I'm going to get it going. All right, so here's the deal with your toes pose. Place your hands maybe on your thighs or prayer center, or if you feel like it, bring your hands behind your low back and reach for opposite elbows. Soften in the shoulders and breathe. As this grows in intensity, which it will, you can always hinge forward and take your weight off of your toes. But try your best to just hang on here. So here's the deal with toes pose. Your eyes can be closed and just listen for a little bit. Toes pose supposedly works on your kidneys, which help restore energy levels and reduce fear even. This stimulates your stomach and your spleen, our primary organs of digestion, and often those organs that when they get out of balance or out of whack, they create excess worry in our bodies. This also is said to stimulate the liver and the gallbladder, which supports our ability to detoxify and break down food as well. It is said to help reduce frustration and cloudy thinking. Who doesn't have that every once in a while? And it improves our ability to make good choices. On a more physical level, on another type of physical level, it strengthens your ankles and your feet, and it opens up your toes, creating a greater sense of balance and ability to move. Close your eyes, breathe, and I'll let you know when the 3 minutes is up. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. It's called screaming toes pose for a reason, right? All right, if you want to stay longer, go for it. But I'm going to come out of our toes pose now and take an ankle pose. So hinge forward gently, place your hands on your mat, remove your block. Lift your toes on up, your legs, your feet. Lift your feet on up. Squeeze and scrunch the toes, get the circulation going. Circle the ankles in both directions, and then tap the tops of your feet out on your mat. Let's go into a nice ankle pose here. Not for very long, but just the counter pose of toes pose. Maybe bring your blocks by your sides to bring the ground up to you. Have a seat back on your heels and let the tops of your feet be on the mat this time. Press your hands into your blocks. Lean on back into the tops of your feet. If you don't want to use the blocks, you can put them aside and have your hands at prayer center. Because this is restorative, I'm going to use the blocks, not worry about my balance. I'm just going to hold on to the blocks and just enjoy this nice static stretch, not for very long. We're just going to counter that toes pose. Just kind of feel yourself floating here a little bit. And just enjoy this counter stretch briefly. Maybe you find that as we take it slowly today, you can lean on back more into the tops of the foot. Maybe that feels good. And just breathe. And as you're ready,
let's come out of this pose. We're not going to be here very long. We're going to go into that sideline bolster pose next. So let's do the same thing with the feet and the ankles again. Hands on your mat, kind of a neutral tabletop. Lift your feet up, circle the ankles, squeeze and scrunch the toes. Do you feel more, I don't know, more space, more mobility in your feet and your ankles? That's kind of the objective there. And then tap your feet out on your mat. All right, next pose. It's a side lying pose on your bolster. Bring your bolster horizontally to about the center of your mat. You can take your blanket up to the top, or you could use a block kind of for a pillow for your head for a little bit. And I'm going to come to lie on my right side, and I'm going to move this bolster so it's kind of in the area of my waist. Right arm, do what you want with it. It can go long to the top of the mat. You can rest your head on your blanket. You can take the opposite arm, the left arm, and send it high as well, or maybe you just want to rest it by your side. What you're going for here is just a nice stretch in the left side of the body. All right, so we're going to be here for 5 minutes. So nestle in, get comfortable, because we're going to be here for a little bit. All right. You just want to feel that big stretch along the top side of your body here. So what is this doing? Knees can be bent, legs can be long. Just feel that good big stretch here. The muscles in between your ribs are called your intercostal muscles. So this is stretching them out, and they feel nice and open. This increases your breathing capacity, kind of like when we do fish pose, which we're going to do today too. This will reduce stiffness and tension around your neck, your shoulders, and your upper back. We worked the upper back and neck and shoulders yesterday. This also stretches all your abdominal muscles. So breathe here, eyes closed, 5 minutes. Rest, adjust, and find what works best for you today and in this moment. Unclench your jaws if your teeth are touching. And find stillness. If you want to deepen the stretch, if you're feeling comfortable where you are, the bottom arm, the right arm, maybe you can bring it kind of down by your side near the bolster, and you can bring your head down to your mat.
Deepen your breath. Imagine the space between the ribs. Try to think of nothing but the goodness of the depth of your stretch. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now it's time to do the other side. So move your arms however you have to just roll on your belly. Let that feel good. Roll on your belly nice and slowly and take it to the other side. As you come onto your left side, maybe you have to readjust that bolster a little bit. Get it nice and comfortable in that waist area. And let's do it again. Arms however you like. To begin, maybe you rest your head on your arm or a block. Top arm, eventually maybe you reach it overhead. You're just going for that good deep stretch in the top side, now the right side of your body. You've got to do what feels right for you, nobody else. Let the yoga meet you right where you are. Don't feel that you have to strive for the maximum pose. You do you. I'm just here to hold the space for you to explore what feels right today. Yoga is said to be not a workout, but a work within. So work from the inside out. Calm your mind. Allow your body to move to what feels good inside of you. Nothing more, nothing less. Soften in the area between your eyebrows. And let the time here work its magic. explore the depth of your inhales and exhales. On the exhale, remember to bring your belly button back towards your spine and feel how the pose intensifies with that deep breath out. Take a deep breath in and repeat that deep breath out. And let's come into pentacle pose. All right, for your pentacle pose, just think of it as a little reset. You can roll off of your bolster, maybe bring your eye shade with you to cover your eyes for just this brief little pentacle pose. Legs go long and are spread wide. Eye shade maybe covers the eyes or your towel, and then bring your arms high up overhead as you come into a capital letter X shape in your pentacle pose. Just a little reset. We're not here very long. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Maybe you'll choose to stay here in your pentacle pose. The next pose I'm going to move into is sleeping swan. All right, it's just like the half pigeon pose, but we're going to hold it longer. All right, if you wish to join me in that pose, let your arms slowly float down by your side. Bring your legs together at the midline of your body. Press on up and turn around, bringing your bolster maybe to the top of your mat. Maybe placing your blanket down near your knees. You might want to open it up and let the blanket be under your knees. All right. I'm going to begin, and grab a block too. Bring your right knee up to behind the bolster and send your left leg long onto your mat. The blanket underneath it feels pretty good. Bend your right knee, bringing the shin a little more parallel to the top of your mat. Take your block and slip it under your right glute. Come on down to your bolster, onto your forearms, whatever. Maybe crisscross the arms and rest your head on your hands. Top of your left foot is on your mat as well. Eventually, this will calm your body and your mind. It's a big, intense stretch in your hips, but it helps to reduce stress and tension from your hips and even your low back. Helps open up your hips as well, and it helps you lengthen in those hip flexors, that muscle on the front of your hips that we work on when we do our lunges on other days. This increases the external range of motion in your femur bone, in your hip socket as well. So rest into this. We're going to stay here for 3 minutes because this is a pretty intense pose. Rest your head on your bolster. You've got the block under your hip to keep your hips equidistant to your mat. Breathe in deeply and breathe out deeply. as you soften in the shoulders and imagine breath and air and space circulating around that right hip socket. As you increase the mobility in your hips, the biggest ball and socket in your whole body, you want to have that mobility in your hips for your quality of life. Maybe you remove the bolster and sink your head down to the mat or your hands, whatever feels good. And if you feel you want to reintroduce the bolster, do that. You've got to make this work for you. And here's another pose where you just can really use your breath. An inhale, big inhale, kind of alleviates some tension. And the big, full exhale lets you melt your hips closer to the mat and feel that stretch deepen even more. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. It's our last breath on this side. We're going to switch. Do the same thing on the other side. Press into your hands. Tuck your back left toes under a little bit and send that right leg back. Lift it up, shake it out, move the hip. Move the hip and enjoy and appreciate that mobility as you get the blood flow in there again. And then we'll switch to the other side. All right. Put your block on your left side. Right knee can be underneath or on top of that blanket. Work your left knee to the top of your mat. It's a big bend there. Bring your left shin, perhaps a little more parallel to the top of the mat. Slip the block under your left glute. This will keep your hips equidistant to the mat as we stay here for 3 minutes. Come on down to your bolster. And when you're ready, maybe bring your hands on top of each other and rest on the bolster. Soften in the shoulders. Same as the other side. And maybe you notice as you come into this pose that you're pretty tight in that left hip. And then magically, as the 3 minutes pass, you'll find greater peace in that hip. Less tension. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Soften in the shoulders, soften in the hips. And you know, you can distinguish between pain and discomfort. Pain makes you want to run. Pain is sharp. You probably are just feeling some discomfort here. breathe through it. As time progresses, maybe you slip the bolster away. As you soften in your shoulders, soften in your glutes, and send breath to that left hip. Things can get pretty uncomfortable, but as long as they don't hurt, stick around. Give it a try. 3 minutes isn't that long. We've got, about a little more than a minute to go. Stick around as long as you're not hurting. And breathe through the discomfort. We say that a lot. Breathe through the discomfort. Maybe sigh it out of your mouth before you come back to that Ujjayi pranayama breath with the lips closed. Sighing it out lets some tension go. Hold on and let go at the same time. Get the mind out of the way and just let the body go to where it can. Deep breaths. Deep breath in. Deep breath out, navel to the spine. Take this stretch to the depth that you can. And then let's finish.
All right, so there is your sleeping swan for today. Press into your hands. Send the left leg back to meet the right. Shake it out and find that newfound hip mobility here. And breathe. All right, now just for a second, just feel what you feel in your hips as you make your way to pentacle pose. Remove your blanket, your bolster, come on down. Send your legs wide, arms high overhead. Just appreciate your hips for a little bit. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Let it go. And as you're ready, let's find that block. Let's go into a supported bridge pose. Bend your knees. Lift your hips on up and take your block at either its most stable level or take it to the secondary level, or maybe even the third. I don't like it on the third. I'm going to take it to the second level. I'm going to place it low on my low back, my sacrum. I'm going to let all of my weight come onto that block. Really let all of your weight go. Maybe lift your feet up a little bit, move them around a little bit, and settle in here. The idea is you want all of those vertebrae off of the block, letting gravity do something good here. Letting gravity let the spine feel no compression. This is a 3-minute pose too. All right, so what's going on here in your supported bridge? Close your eyes, arms down by your sides. Maybe you put your blanket on your belly. Maybe that feels nice. But if you have headaches, this is supposed to help alleviate and relieve some tension from headaches, as this promotes deep relaxation, as it soothes your nervous system. all that anxiety, depression, even irritability is said to go away after doing this pose. It is also said to improve your digestion, your respiration, and your circulation. What more could you want, right? Strengthens your neck and your shoulders, and it reduces, and I really do feel this one, it reduces that heaviness feeling in your abdomen. So that's why we do a supported bridge pose in our practices. Breathe and let your body reap the benefits of this pose. Arms are wherever you like. I think down by my side with my palms face up is most comfortable for me. You do what's right for you. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. So how do you like knowing what the poses are doing or what they're capable of? All right, so that is our supported bridge pose. You can stay here longer if you like, but I'm going to move into a supported fish pose on my bolster. So to come out of this pose, I'm going to press the weight into my feet, pull the block out as my hips are lifted, and then I'm going to roll my spine down one vertebra at a time, just because I can and just because that feels really good and really right. Bring your tailbone down, absolutely last, because you always want to encourage that spinal mobility. Your spine is so strong, so mobile, so flexible. Keep it moving in those ways. I'm going to bolster onto my mat vertically. You can bring your eye shade or your towel and your blanket. Cover up whatever you want to cover up with. The weight of the blanket feels real good. You know how popular weighted blankets are. Maybe you place them on your feet. Maybe that feels good. The calves, the thighs, or on the belly. Bottom is on your mat. And you're going to recline here on your bolster. Cover the eyes with the eye shade, if you like. Arms down by your sides. Rest your head, the back of your head, on your bolster. So your shoulders, bring them back as if you're like hugging the bolster with the backs of your shoulders, if that makes sense. Arms down by your sides. All right, here are the benefits of fish. You're stretching the front of your body, your throat, your chest, your abdomen, even your hip flexors. Remember those? We talked about those, and we talk about those a lot. Your hip flexors and the intercostal muscles, those ones between your ribs that we also stretched in that side lying position on the bolster. This strengthens your upper back muscles, so that really works on your posture and the back of your neck. This improves your spinal flexibility and your posture. All right, this one is about 5 minutes. Arms down by your sides. Palms face up will externally rotate your shoulders a little bit more and allow you to kind of hug that bolster from behind as you work on your standing posture. Now your legs, do with them what you want. Maybe you like them long. Maybe if your low back is feeling a little tight and a little bit of tension, you can bend your knees and have the soles of your feet on your mat. Or open up your knees wide to the sides of the mat and let the soles of your feet touch. Lengthen in the spine. Think of that wonderful, good standing posture that you are encouraging here. Breathe deeply, navel to spine, and allow your body to reap the benefits of this supported fish pose. Where do you need to soften? Where do you need to let go? What is holding you back? What's holding you back is your thinking that something's holding you back. Let your shoulders relax even more. No tension there. No tension in your hips. No tension between your eyebrows. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. You can stay here longer in this fish pose. Sometimes 5 minutes just isn't long enough. Seems like a long time when you first start, but once you get here and start to feel the goodness and let your body release its tension, you want to stay longer. Do that if that's what speaks to you. I'm going to move into final Shavasana pose. To do that, I'm going to take the easy way Not much effort here. I'm going to bring my knees together at the midline, extend my legs long, and I'm just going to roll off of my bolster. No need to come up, just let it go. Come off of the bolster, come onto your mat with your eye shade and your blanket. Cover up what you want to cover up. Maybe it's just an area of your body or your entire body. And cover your eyes with your eye shade or your towel. Options are to put the bolster under your feet or the blocks under your feet. Have your legs lifted a little bit. That eases tension on the low back. Or you can put your bolster underneath your knees. I'm just going to take a classic final Shavasana pose. Wiggle the shoulders a little more closer to the spine, palms face up, arms a little bit away from the body, legs spread a little bit toward the bottom of the mat, pinky toes fall out as you externally rotate your hips a little bit. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Maybe sigh it out as you feel your body deflate in a good way. Deflate all the tension that might be remaining in your shoulders, in your hips, in your body. Let your body be heavy. So many benefits of final Shavasana, but the best way to sum it up is that this pose calms. Oh, we all need more calm. It calms the body, the mind, and the soul, which is what yoga is all about, the union of body, mind, and soul. Breathe deeply here. Any way that feels natural to you. Maybe that's keeping the lips closed and breathing in and out through the nose. Or maybe you'd like to sigh it out of your mouth. We'll be here as long as you like. I'm going to be here for about 3 minutes with you. Soften the area between the eyebrows. If your teeth are touching, unclench your jaws a little bit. And maybe even remove the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Shoulders are soft and away from the ears. Your breath is deep, peaceful, and calming. Arms and legs are heavy. And your focus is on just your breath. Final Shavasana is said to be a time where your brain just kind of absorbs and learns and remembers what you did in your practice. And it sets new thresholds of excellence for you. It allows your mind to realize what your body can do, what it's capable of, and it breaks down those barriers of disbelief, all those things that you are holding on to, all that doubt that you are holding on to kind of melts. the brain realizes, hey, I can do more. And next time, I will. Take a deep breath in, and your deep breath out. Stay here longer if you like, and just hit the pause button on your remote control. If it's time for you to conclude your hour, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes as you wake them up, and appreciate the toes for surviving that screaming toes pose. Circle your ankles this way and that. Find mobility in your hands, in your wrists, in your toes, your ankles, and your feet. On an inhale, reach high overhead and stretch it out. Appreciate the stretch in those intercostal muscles. Breathe, reach, stretch. You did it. Exhale, bend your knees and roll onto one hip or the other. Use the low arms bicep as a pillow for your head. Close your eyes, soften in your shoulders, and savor a breath here as we conclude. Breathe in, breathe out, as simple as that. When you're ready, maybe you keep the eyes closed to hold on to the magic a little bit longer. Float on up to a comfortable seated position. Sit however feels good for you, keeping the eyes closed. Bring your hands to prayer center. Lengthen up through your spine. We did that when we started out in our child's pose. Lengthen up through your spine, crown of your head up to the heavens. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Gently blink your eyes open. You did it. You did it. Whatever was holding you back, you overcame it in this hour. Let go of things. Just, you can do more than you think you can. Have a great rest of your day. Think about that stress number for a moment that you took in the beginning. What was it? And what is it now? I'm sure you're feeling a whole lot better. All right, as you go on with your day, feeling better in your body, knowing a little bit more why we do what we do. Let me know if you liked that or not. If you'd like me to be more quiet next time, I'll do that too. All right, as you go on with your day, think about these wonderful things, the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. See you guys on your mats tomorrow for a different type of practice. Check it out. You'll like it, I promise. From me to you, much love. See you guys. Bye. Good girl. You're a good girl. You like your